It was probably the best day of my boyfriend's life when Magic the Gathering revealed that they were going to do a Garfield collaboration. He has just recently gotten into the Magic the Gathering and really loves it. He's been trying to convince me to play for a little while. I haven't jumped on board yet, but if you don't know, I am a massive Garfield fan. I've been collecting Garfield for about 20 years now. I actually have some pretty strong opinions about things that I consider good Garfield and things that I consider bad Garfield. So even though I don't play the game, it was really cool that this sort of bridged the gap between what he enjoys and what I enjoy. I'm really excited to have a look at the cards and let you guys know what I think is a good depiction of my fluffy little boy and ones that I don't enjoy. We got the whole collection. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm going to go through each individual packet and let you know which ones I like for aesthetic reasons. And then my partner's gonna come in and he's gonna let you know which ones he considers the most useful to the least useful. So let's just get straight into it. Alrighty, so they released 3 different packets, and then because we bought the whole collection, we got a secret special card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each packet, show you guys the cards, and then rate them from best to worst. And then I'm gonna do all of the cards up against each other and let you know which ones I really like. So just off the bat, I really like the packaging. I think that the pictures that they've chosen are really cute. Alrighty, I'm gonna open, let's do As Intended first. So we've got Swords to Plowshares, this card here. I might put them next to me as well, just in case it's hard to see. We've got Sorcery. Oh no, we don't. We have Earthquake. We have a Counterspell. This is what's on the packet. We have Dark Ritual, him in his little slippers, so cute. We have Fog, and then we also have Clone. Alrighty, so these 6 here are the ones from the As Intended packet. I'm gonna put them in order from which ones I like the most to the least out of that packet. So my absolute favorite is Clone. I really love that one. I love Garfield interacting with an old version of himself. And usually when he does that, it'll be with a version of Garfield that I really like, interacting with one that I don't really love. So for example, a 1990s sort of Garfield is interacting with like the movie Garfield. I don't really love that. The one to the right is like the first Garfield, and then the one to the left is the Garfield that I sort of started collecting. So I really love that. I think it's really cute. I think they've really kept to his look with that one. So that's my favorite. Which one do I want to do next? It's kind of between Counterspell and Dark Ritual. I'll go Counterspell next. I love the inclusion of John. Yeah, I love the colors. I love that green at the background. Yeah, I really like that one. And then Dark Ritual will be going next. I love him with those little slippers on. I think they're so cute. Love Pookie in the background. These 3 ones, I think I'll go Earthquake next, just because that's really cute. Him going into the lasagna and calling that Earthquake. I think that's really cute. Love that face on John. That's a classic face. Him with no lips and just that sort of little nose lip thing he's got going on. And then honestly, the last 2 I could give or take. Which one do I like better? Maybe the Sword one and then the Fog. Okay, the next one I'm gonna open is Motivationally Challenged with a classic Hang in There Baby Garfield on the front. This packet as well has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has 6 cards. People that buy Magic the Gathering cards are probably like, yeah, they all have 6. I don't know, but this one has 6 in it. These ones are cute. They sort of, I think in the ones before, they have more of like a border where these cards are the whole thing. We'll go through each card. So the first one is Hang in There, which is the picture that they have on the packet. We have Garfield and Odie. This one's Best Buds. Right off the bat, I'll get into it a bit later, but the pink they've got on his nose, I don't really love. The next one is Talk to the Poor. We then have I Hate Mondays, Soul Ring, which has Arlene in it. That's really cute. And then the last one from that packet is Gimme Gimme. So with these again, we've got a real classic looking Garfield. They're not really doing anything super fun. I think that's what Our Only Thought Is to Entertain You is going to do those. It looks like, yeah, it's got that creepy sort of Garfield, so that might get a bit more original. Already, I think I love As Intended more than these ones. The other one, I like the border. I like that it sort of has that more comic sort of look. I think out of these, I think I like Soul Ring the best. I love having Arlene on there. As a collector, I don't really see a lot of Pookie and I don't really see a lot of Arlene. So whenever I sort of see those characters, I intend to just like it a bit more because, yeah, it's just sort of rarer to see them. So I think that one is my first one. I might go I Hate Mondays. I don't usually like him in that stance. I feel like the only time I see him in that sort of stance with his claws out is on like really cheap looking mugs or cups, the things where he's really slapped onto them, or those really bad, so bad that they're good tattoos of Garfield. With some of these, Garfield's personality is pretty like obvious, and I think I'll get into it a bit later, but there are some where I'm like, just because they kind of go for the lowest hanging fruit. And I Hate Mondays is clearly very classic Garfield, but they've at least done it in a bit of a fun way there. So that's why I really like that one. I think next I'll go Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. And then, see, the last three of these I don't really love. I'll go Hang In There, sort of the order they're in already. Talk to the Poor, and then Best Buds. I think the Hang In There is sort of all right. I think Talk to the Poor, once again, maybe just the lowest hanging fruit. I feel like they could have done something a bit funner with that design. Best Buds, I just think the pink that they've got on his nose just really bothers me. I don't like it. All right, we've got one more packet and then the special card. The last packet we have is Our Only Thought Is to Entertain You, which I love that artwork. I do really love fan art of Garfield. The sort of creepy Garfield I like to an extent. I do love that sort of middle range. When he starts getting really creepy, I just think like, what have you done to my boy? Like this t-shirt here actually is verging on, like I bought it because I found it in an op shop for $3.50. So I'm like, of course I'm gonna buy it. Because it's my boy and I like the cut on me. But if this was on like an oversized t-shirt, I probably wouldn't have bought this. I don't enjoy him. I just don't enjoy him being that creepy. But I think what's really special and what I love about Garfield and what's so exciting about collecting him is that he is on a lot of stuff. So then I think it's cool as a community that people are able to sort of come in and put their own spin on him. Like, I think that's really fun. I feel like you don't really see that compared to something else like, what else is sort of collected the same way or is on as many things? Maybe like a Snoopy or a Hello Kitty, for example. Like, they sort of keep him in more of his original sort of state. Where with Garfield, I love that, yeah, people can just come in and they have a fun idea for a tattoo or a poster or something and they just come in and they feel like they can sort of mess around with him. I think that's really fun. And it means that there's already so much Garfield you can collect, but then there's always sort of something more and someone else's sort of take on it. So I do really love that. But yeah, as I said, as long as it's like not too scary because he's my boy. Okay, I already see one that I really hate. All right, number one, we have Maddening, Hunter's Insight. We've got Shoot the Sheriff. Molten Collapse is the one that's on the packet artwork. We have two more. We have It That Betrays. And then we also have Maddening Hex. All right, so there's definitely one that I hate. There's one that I really don't like. But I think to start off with, the one that I love the most is probably the Molten Collapse. That's the cusp of the creepiness. I don't want him to be any more creepy than that. I've seen him like this before, so maybe that's why I'm a bit more comfortable with it, but I think that's fun. And I think as well, once again, I don't know a lot about Magic the Gathering in particular, but like, I feel like this sort of feels like something that people would like. And then I'm gonna go Shoot the Sheriff next. I tend to start not liking Garfield the more 3D people make him. I just feel like then it sort of warps his proportions, and I love old school Garfield where obviously he's just in his comic. I do love when he puts the fruit and veggies on him. I think that's really cute. I think Maddening Hex would go next. Once again, yeah, that's sort of on the edge of the creepiness that I would like to see him in. It's like a cool concept. The spiders, I like that. Okay, It Betrays Us is next. That sort of just looks like a real, someone was just like doodling on a page to draw that. I feel like I've seen him do that sort of thing a few times. So I don't really find it necessarily very exciting, but it's like non-offensive. The last two I really don't like. I don't like Maddening and I don't like Hunters. I think I like Maddening more than I do the Hunter's Insight. I don't love what they've done with his mouth and his eyes like that to make him look really tired. I do love that there's Pookie in there actually. Yeah, I just don't love his proportions, his mouth changing like that. I think that's starting to make him look really weird. And then Hunter's Insight, I cannot tell you how much I really hate that. His head, the proportions are way off. They've made him sort of look like an egg, which I don't love. That's sort of 3D. I don't enjoy. They've given him like pecs. I don't know, they've messed around too much with my boy. I really don't like that one. It looks like Nintendo or someone would release a Garfield game and it would look like that. And I would not play it. I don't like that. I don't like that one at all. Sorry to that creator. It's also sort of giving like too much computer. And then last we do have food. So this is one that Jesse got because he spent so much money. Once again, him and lasagna, non-offensive. It's all right. Yeah, I feel like I don't really feel a lot about it. I think when Jesse said, if we spend this much money, they're gonna give us a secret card, I got really excited because I was like, oh, what's the artwork gonna be? Then when he said, this is the card, I thought, oh, I think it could have been a bit more exciting for like the special card that you get, but maybe that's got more to do with what the card can do and not the artwork. For example, if the artwork was the clone one, I'd be like, whoa, that's really, really cool. I love that. But maybe I just need to understand the card a bit more. Okay, I'm now gonna do a ranking of all of the cards from best to worst, and then we're gonna get my partner in here and he's going to talk about which one is actually the best to worst in terms of the game, not just which ones look pretty. So that's my order. I'm gonna get my partner in here and he's going to talk you through which ones are actually good.
Hi, I'm Jesse, Alex's partner. I am, unfortunately for everyone, including my finances, a huge Magic the Gathering nerd. I got into the game about 18 months ago and I love it. First up with the cards I really love, I think Sol Ring is going to be right up there at my best. Obviously not everyone plays Commander, but if you do, Sol Ring is an essential. You just got to put it in all your decks. I'm going to put the Garfield one straight into my little Taste of Card Love deck that I've been building for a little while. I'll put my little deck list up in the comments after this. Next up, for a couple of reasons, is Dark Ritual. I play a lot of Black-White, little Orzhov deck. The As Intended set with Garfield has a lot of cards that are essentials for the different colors. So you've got Dark Ritual, you've got Swords to Plowshares, you've got Fog, you've got Counterspell. I think if you're running a deck with those colors, it's pretty essential to have them in there. I think they cheap and efficient and they do what you need to do. So Dark Ritual, paying 1 mana to get you more mana. If you're playing a Commander game and you've got a Swamp, a Dark Ritual and a Sol Ring in your opening hand, things are going to get crazy. So I think that's wonderful. And it's also why Swords to Plowshares is my next one. Aside from the fact I love the artwork in the As Intended one, I think they're wonderful. I think Swords to Plowshares, again, is just, I would put it in every white deck. It's just super cheap removal. It's really, really wonderful. And you can also use it on your own stuff. If you've got something that, if you've got like Sir Vondum the Lucent, you can build him up to be nice and big. You can exile him and then just whack people. So I think Swords to Plowshares is excellent. Which brings me to the next one. I love green decks. I'm trying to build a bit more Pauper at the moment, and I've got a deck that's all about trying to do a bit of turbo fog. So you fog damage so other people don't deal any damage, and then you whack them with your stuff. So I think the fog card is really good and the artwork is very lovely. Counterspells next. Again, it's blue, it costs 2, you stop people from doing what they want to do. Some of these cards are really, really good, but I think these are the best because they are just like staples. Now I'm going to put I Hate Mondays, which is Beast Within, next because it's removal and the person gets to make a token. But again, you can remove your own stuff. If you have like a 1/1 and you want to remove it for any particular reason, you can get a token. Giving them a little beast token isn't going to change the game too dramatically. So I think removal is great and that's excellent. Probably tied with that is going to be Orim's Chant. Stopping people from playing spells, very, very good. Obviously there is a combination that I forget, where you can basically play Orum's Chant and like shut down the entire game, which is a little bit less fun. But I think that's a great spell. It's very nifty if things are about to get awful. You kind of can save yourself for a turn. So it's similar to Fog in that sense. You want to have cards in your hand and you want to see your deck. So Ponder/Hang in There is obviously next. Next up is Shiny Impetus, which is gimme, 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 where you're making an opponent's creature larger, but you're making sure that they can't hit you. Every turn you'll get a treasure token. Every turn they'll have to attack something else. So your best case scenario is they're doing damage to other players, you're getting treasures. Worst case scenario, their creature gets wrecked and you get a treasure along the way. So I know Alex really doesn't like the artwork for Hunter's Insight, but I think being able to draw cards with a little instant speed thing is excellent. You've got like a big green creature, you have it attack, whether it's got trample or otherwise, and you just go play a little Hunter's Insight and you get to draw a heap of cards. I've got a Hydra deck, which is like all about giving yourself no maximum hand size and then drawing a billion cards. With this, you could pretty consistently get a 30 card draw going, which is pretty nice. Maddening Hex is next. This artwork is creepy. I love it. It is a little spooky. So you're enchanting a player, they cast on creature spell, you deal damage to them, and then you can move the aura around. So you just get to ping damage around, which is wonderful. But there's a black-red, like a Radkus deck that I'm working on, which is all about doubling/tripling non-combat damage. So this card is a great way to get big damage happening every turn and moving it around. It's not particularly like targeted, which is nice because then you can like mosey it around the table. You're making a rude deck slightly less rude because you're not exactly taking out the one person over and over again. Molten Collapse, which is this little guy, is excellent because you're destroying someone else's creature. You get to destroy something else, which is something cheap. Again, a bit rude, but red and black is rude. So I think this Shoot the Sheriff, get out of here, is my favorite artwork from a lot of these. I love the little fruit and vegetables all over him. I think the artwork's cool. It's kind of creepy as well, but 2 cost destroying a non-outlaw creature I think is flavorful and it's fun, but removal is always good. You want removal. This next one is probably one of my favorite cards, but I think from here they're a little bit more situational. So you've got It That Betrays, paying 12 for an 11/11 Eldrazi with Annihilator 2, and when someone sacrifices a non-token permanent, you move them over to your side of the field. So it is an expensive card. It is a wonderful card. There are many ways you can cheat it out for free. All the other cards before this, I think, are good pretty regardless of the situation, whereas It That Betrays is excellent in some situations. There's a lot of times where you're not going to need it. I would love to put it in every deck just because it's colorless, but there's very few situations where you're going to pull it off without some silly stuff happening, because by the time you're able to pay 12, there's a lot of resources on the board. I put Earthquake next because I think paying X and dealing damage is great, but unless you have a lot of flyers or a lot of life, like it comes back to hit you too. It's quite situational. You either want to have more life than everyone, so it's not putting you at a disadvantage, or you want to make sure it's not going to wipe your creatures out. This brings me to Clone. I think artwork is sick. I know Alex loves this one, and seeing the artwork was really what got me across the board with buying 2 of these. I bought 2 of that as intended to make sure that Alex had some. I know she loves old Garfield, but I think Clone is really, really cool. I've got this in an artifact deck which has Blightsteel Colossus. In a perfect world, your goal is to try and copy Blightsteel Colossus about 20 times. This is a wonderful way of doing that for 4. Again, you've got to have the cool thing on the board, so it's more situational. Maddening Cacophony, I love the artwork. I think it's super fun. Great for mill decks if you're playing the Wise Mothman. I think it's a really, really cool card. Again, not great for every situation, but if you've got a deck that is doing some milling or doubling milling, then wonderful. Garfield and Odie Best Buds or Rin and Seri. Last year, not because I think it's a bad card, I think it's wonderful and I can't wait to build a deck around it. Like, it is your commander card, so the situation is you're building an entire deck around it. I think otherwise there's some really good fun you can do with it, but you are building around that card. All the other cards, I think you can, if you had multiples of them, you could pop them in a lot of decks. This one, the Rin and Seri deck, is the Rin and Seri deck. And I think the Lasagna token's cool. The artwork is a little Uncanny Valley. I put it last because it doesn't, like, you know, food tokens have utility when you're making them, but you know, I wouldn't say it's a powerful card necessarily, but it's a token. You're making tokens, and it was worth the silly amount of money I spent to get there. Those are my favorites. I'm hoping to play some Pauper again soon, so I can't wait to put some Garfield Dark Rituals in there. I think that's it for me. So thank you.
Alrighty, so now Jesse's going to show me how lists compare to each other. My gut feel is that what I find the most aesthetically pleasing is probably not going to be the best card, but that's fine. What did you think of my ranking?
I liked your ranking. I agree with a lot of it. I think the Shoot the Sheriff one is super fun, the one where he's got the fruit and veggies all over him. I think we were matched with a lot of them, but unfortunately there's a couple that you hate that are really good. Let's have a little look through it.
Okay, alrighty.
You'll quite like Soul Ring. I thought Soul Ring was pretty good too. Shoot the Sheriff was a little bit further down for me, but my list was all about what is good utility-wise.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the one that you hate, which is I think Hunter's Insight, is like pretty up there for me.
Yeah, let me have a little look.
I think the weird Garfield stuff was really fun. Like the Molten Collapse was your second favorite. And I think that one was really, really cool.
I can't believe you put Clone there, though.
I know.
Clone's the best.
Clone is good. Everything after Gimme 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 is like situational.
Yeah.
Everything above that for me is like they're objectively good. You want to have them in your deck, right up to Hunter's Insight, where everything after there is like only if it works with what you're trying to do. So I think like Clone is great, but you have to have something cool to clone. I actually really do like Maddening Cacophony, which you put at the end. I think the artwork there is really fun, except for the
You like the artwork?
The 5 o'clock shadow thing's crazy, but I love the artwork of all the clocks around him. I think that's fun. I would say my favorite artwork wise would be Shoot the Sheriff and It That Betrays, the little multi-armed one.
You like the It That Betrays?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. I think like really deep in my heart, I kind of like all of them because they are Garfield. So I don't feel that passionately about a lot of the changes apart from, that I really do not like.
The Garfield with pecs. The Hunter's
Yeah.
Insight.
I really don't like that one, and that one's good. Thank you, Magic the Gathering, for doing a set on my boy. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about the cards, which ones were your favorites, aesthetic-wise or actually Magic the Gathering-wise. And like, subscribe, and I'll post another video soon.
Thanks for watching.
This video was created on the lands of the Wurundjeri people, who have been telling stories and creating art on these lands for thousands of years. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.